So what we're doing here is we're just gonna make some, or I'm gonna make some predictions. I got my boys Isaiah and Emilio in the Discord,
Oh,
and we're just gonna be talking some NFL because if you didn't know, I'm a huge 49er fan. So
oof.
I wanted to put some
That's
NFL
where you start
content.
off bad. You
Motherfucker!
start off
I said be
bad.
quiet during the intro, and this guy keeps cutting me off.
Nah, I had to jump in right there.
You
That
didn't
is
have
so
to jump
cool.
Can't
in. You
make your
didn't have to
voice
say
heard.
anything.
You went 2 minutes without having to say anything.
You think everyone's that's gonna be watching is a Niner fan? Like, oh, dude, Niners
No.
all the
Oh,
way.
oh shit,
I'm
the boys here.
Oh my god. Alright. Redo. We're gonna redo. We're gonna retake. No, I'm just
Oh,
kidding.
you
We don't
really
do. We
redo?
don't do that. We don't do that.
I
Here.
was like,
Alright.
what the heck?
We just go in. So I got the predictions, the playoff predictors page up here, whatever the fuck this website is. It's the same one I used last year, and I just wanna get my thoughts on record, on camera, on recorded. Well, not on camera, but recorded, so that way at the end of the season we can look back and see how horribly wrong I was on everything.
That, or you can just say, "Oh, see, you said that."
See, I was right.
That too.
Almost right.
Also, how horribly,
Yeah, you
or
really want
also
that.
how right I was about everything.
Yes.
Look, okay. Last season I was about like 70-30. I was about like 70-30. I was mostly right,
30.
but like 30% I was pretty wrong about a lot of teams. So there's some stuff in there. I know for a fact I'm not going to get everything right. So I just want to do this for fun. It'll be fun. Anyways, who wants to start? Emilio or Isaiah? Who wants the Vikings? Who
go
wants
ahead,
the,
Isaiah.
who wants the Vikings?
Oh, you can put me on the spot.
You're gonna get the
Yeah.
Vikings. Okay, so
gonna-
Vikings. We're gonna start. We're just to be clear, we're just gonna go through all the NFC teams. For now, we're trying to get through NFC North and NFC South. Hopefully, we can just get through all of this. But depending on how long it takes, we might stop after NFC South. Anyways, Isaiah, Vikings. First thoughts.
Alright. The first pick, the Vikings. Roscoe.
Stop saying inside jokes. Nobody's gonna know that. Just talk about the fucking Vikings.
Okay, alright. Let's do it for the Scold. Vikings, I project basically jack shit. They ain't gonna go anywhere. Because one, they have Kirk Cousins, the basically a quarterback. He'll probably win you like maybe 10 games a season, but I don't know if that's good enough.
Okay,
to
wait,
come out
hold
the
on.
NFC West.
Emilio, is he
Or not the
is he
West,
cutting
the-
out for you a little bit? Or
Yeah, he is cutting out
okay.
for me a little bit.
You might have to turn
All
your
I know is
volume
that-
up a little bit, Isaiah.
Kurt Dunkins, Baskin Dunkins, yes.
Dunkins.
Kurt Dunkins, yes.
Stop.
Dunkins.
I
He's
feel
a
like this
third string quarterback.
Okay, while
Ooh.
Emilio's fixing, or while Isaiah's
Ooh.
doing his mic, Emilio,
Wait.
go ahead and talk about the Vikings.
Okay, so here's what I think. I think they lost
They lost Stephon Diggs.
yes, there's the name. I was gonna say Trevor Wallace. I don't know why.
They did
Yes, they lost.
they did draft a guy, I think.
They drafted Justin
Yeah,
Jefferson.
but that's like Stephon Diggs, and then it's like
And also
it's not
rookie
a big miss.
receivers.
It's not a big miss for me because they still got Adam Thielen. He's been doing great, still. Despite all the quarterback changes, he's still been playing pretty well. Brandon Cooks needs to step his game up a lot more, I feel.
Brandon Cooks.
I mean-
he's
Exposed,
no, Brandon Cooks.
exposed,
exposed.
live on
Cooks.
Twitch.
You mean Dalvin Cooks?
Yeah, there you go. I'm gonna say this before we go further. I always mix up names. I'm bad. I mean,
Oh yes,
it can be
this is an
anywhere.
inside
Yeah,
joke.
but
Emilio
this
is
is the reason
famous.
why we
Yeah,
have you on
I
stream.
always, yeah.
He is famous for
everyone knows.
missing names.
So let's see how many
Yes, I
names.
am.
Let's get a name counter ready.
Yeah, that's why.
I'm not
That's
gonna do
probably one
that.
right there.
It'll be 1,000
That would be
by the end
beautiful.
of this stream.
Nah. But anyways, I really think that even if they go far, it's gonna be the same thing every year. They're gonna hit the playoffs. They'll beat the Saints, and then they're done. They're gonna be they're gonna be big, and then they're
I
not.
mean, that's
Did
all
you-
we
I mean,
need.
The Niners,
gonna
like,
beat the
come on,
Saints?
against the Niners. I feel like they always just come up.
They've
with the
always
Saints.
beat the Saints. I don't know. The Saints just chill.
They have their number.
Like-
They have their jersey, bro. They just have it hung up and like, yes,
They
this
do
is
in
play
the
in
rafters.
16.
yes.
They got Rant.
I don't think they're gonna really. I would say they will probably be second.
In their
place
division?
Yeah.
Okay, so they'll still
That's-
be like good. It's just like mediocre.
I don't even know if they were gonna
Yeah.
make playoffs. Being
I
second
don't.
in
I
their
don't know
division.
about making
I don't
playoffs.
know.
Honestly.
I don't know if
Dude,
it's good enough.
NFC is stacked, so it's gonna be hard to make the playoffs with a mediocre season.
Yes. But somehow they always get in. All right,
They
next,
do
or
squeeze in.
Angelo, actually.
They do squeeze
They
in.
do
but-
squeeze in, but
So I'm
I don't
still
know.
making my. I'm on the last game. Okay. So I'm kind of like it's a little bit hard to listen to you guys and then make picks at the same time, but right here I have them going 7-9, which seems
Yeah, that's.
about
I would
right.
say, I would see that. Yeah, but I'm gonna boost it up either to a 9
I'll say a 9 and
and
7,
6
8 and 8.
or 9 and 7. Yeah, 9 and 7 or 8 and 8 around
I
there.
mean,
They can make 10, but definitely a 9 and 7. That's definitely the
9
number.
and 7. Okay,
Yeah.
well I have their losses. I have the Packers sweeping them.
That's
No,
fair. I feel like that's gonna,
I don't know. I
feel
don't
like
know,
that's
cause
gonna happen.
here's what I think. Like, if we're gonna get in a little bit into Green Bay, I think Green Bay like they just only have A-Rod and
Well,
And,
we're
uh,
gonna go over Green Bay, so let's wait
Yeah,
to
yeah,
go
we'll
to
Let's
go
Green
just
Bay.
go strictly
I'm just gonna
on
tell you.
Green
Well,
Bay.
I'm just gonna tell you like where their losses are at. I have the Packers sweeping them. I have the Colts beating them in week 2.
really.
I have the
Oh
Seahawks
wait, the
beating
Colts,
them.
yes.
Yeah, I was
Mhm.
like, it's not that hot of a take. I have the
Really? Hold my drink.
Oh man, I have the Seahawks
Wait a
beating
minute.
them.
I just can't see it.
Oh my god.
Go ahead, go ahead.
I have the Seahawks beating them week 5. I have
That's fair.
Lions beating them week 9. They're gonna split. I
I
thought.
don't know. I don't know about that one.
Yes,
I don't know about
sir.
that one.
So you think they're
no,
gonna sweep
no.
the Lions?
Nope.
I feel like the Lions could potentially be
I think the
that
Lions
bad.
will steal one off of them.
Yeah. I could
So that's what
see
I have. I have them splitting with the Lions.
that. Okay.
Yeah, and then I also have them splitting with the Bears. But now that I think about it, I'm gonna have them sweep the Bears. I really don't think the Bears.
They don't have a QB, bro.
Like
But they
Trubisky
got
is
defense,
that
man.
bad, but their defense is overrated, and also defense
Would-
is
It's-
inconsistent. It's way too inconsistent year to
Yeah.
year. Like you never know what you're gonna get. Anyways, I have them losing to the Cowboys. Cowboys coming off a bye week. I have them losing to the Bucks in week 14. The Buccaneers also coming off a bye week. I think by the time week 14 rolls around, Brady will at least have like a grasp of that offense, you know. And I have them losing week 16 to the Saints. Like I know you guys say they have the Saints number, but like I don't know, man. I think the Saints are Super Bowl
No.
bound
If
this
it's not
year.
playoffs, the Saints all the way. But if it's playoffs,
In the playoffs,
That's-
I could see it.
Something about the playoff Saints
Just
losing
the
to
playoff
Bucks.
Saints are just cursed, man. They're just
Yeah, man.
cursed. I feel bad for Saints fans, but with the adjustment of having them sweep the Bears, I have them going 8-8.
8-8.
8-8, yeah, and I'll have them. I'll do this. Well, no.
I
this.
still see 9 and 7. But 8
9 and
8 is
7.
close.
Best case scenario, 10 and 6.
I mean,
Yeah,
either way, this is a team that do we expect this team to make playoffs? Like, do we expect?
They're
Mm.
borderline. Borderline.
They're like
always- The thing that
fringe.
sucks, they always make it in, and that's what's so annoying. Like,
Yeah,
they have a potential season, but then they always fall flat where it counts.
like
like that Niner
it's
game,
like,
come on,
but you
man.
never even expect. Hold on, I'm gonna take a sip of water really quick. Like you never
big enough.
expect them. You never expect them to do anything, even when they do make it. Like last year they made it, and you're just like, but are they actually gonna do anything? You know, like, and that's how it's been like the past 3 years. Like they've made it, but nobody's really expected them to actually make it even to like the championship.
Like
game.
a long run, yeah.
Did they make
yeah.
it the year before?
They made it to the championship game 2 years ago.
That was against the Eagles, right?
Yeah,
Mhm.
The Eagles
and they
took
got
that.
absolutely destroyed. That was the year that Case Keenum.
They had Case Keenum.
Yeah. And then they
Case
brought
Keenum
in
was
they brought in
unstoppable.
Kirk Cousins to win.
Which I thought was gonna be a great fucking thing for them to do.
I
but-
did too, but like Isaiah said, Kirk Cousins isn't like he's not gonna lose you games, but at the same time, he isn't gonna
He's not
add
gonna-
much value. You know, he's just a really safe quarterback. But like, I would much rather have somebody who's
If I
gonna.
have Aaron Rodgers on the other sideline and then Kirk Cousins on the Vikings sideline, dude, 10 out of 10, I'm taking the Aaron Rodgers.
Which is
I
why I
guess.
have personally why I have the Packers sweeping them, just because
They have
Aaron Rodgers. Like I just, it's like even though I feel like the Vikings roster is overall better, and that's the
Better?
reason they've been so good is the past few years. Is their roster is actually really good. Like they have a lot of talent, but I don't know, man. I'm just gonna. Here, I'll do this. I'll give them week 1 against the Packers, because the Packers the Packers always struggle early on. I don't know if you guys have noticed this, but the Packers always struggle early on.
Yeah, they drop a game.
They
or
always
two.
drop games early in the season, and then later in the season they always rally back. So
Make
I'll have
toast,
them losing
yeah.
week 1, and the Packers will beat them week 8. Anyways, let's.
So that's what 9-7.
Yeah, 9-7, 9-7. So let's move on. Let's move on to the Lions. Emilio, first thought on the Lions.
You see, I have faith in the Lions, man. I don't know why, but I feel like they're gonna pull it, and it's gonna be a surprise to everybody. They're gonna be like, "Oh my God, I didn't see it." I'm gonna be like, "That's right, Matthew Stafford is gonna do something." I don't know, honestly. I'm really overhyping him. I think they could at least, obviously, take third, but if A-Rod's not having a good, it's just not going well. If the Vikings, like, I definitely gotta go with the Lions making a big splash. If the whole, division's just going out of whack, I say they can make a big push.
Okay.
Not confident with it, but I can say that they can do something.
You could see it. So you're just like
Yeah.
throwing that out there. Don't be surprised if the Lions win the
Throw the
division or
dart on the
something
board.
like
I
that.
feel like the Lions can do something better than they have before. They always have a slow start, or they'll have a hot start, then they always start off like just
They
at
go
the
on
end.
they go on streaks where they'll win like 3 games that they
2 or
really
3
shouldn't.
games.
And
And
they're
then
just like,
that's when
wow,
they
are the
shut
Lions
down.
for real? Yeah, and then they'll just lose a bunch of games, and
And then it's like, what happened? And I think it's
happened there?
just, I don't know what they did on off season. I didn't see a lot of what they did, but I'm thinking they can. They lost. They did lose Darius Slay, right?
they did
They
lose
lost
Darius
Yeah,
their
they
Slay,
cornerback.
traded
but
him
they
away.
they drafted
Jeff
Okuda,
Okuda.
who is
Yeah.
the number 1 prospect, and
Corner.
he's a stud, dude. I've watched his
Basically,
tape. This guy's amazing.
He's a plug and play. You're not
He's gonna
miss anything.
instantly replace Darius Slay.
I mean, I still have confidence in Matthew Stafford. His arm game's just still phenomenal. Defense is kind of, you need to step on it a little bit, but it's all right. I don't know about the receivers. You got what, Galladay or whatever. his name is?
Galladay, the receivers are actually pretty good.
They're pretty
That's what I'm
solid,
saying.
yeah.
Like they're pretty good. They're solid. It's just I don't know who the running game is. Like who's the running?
They got Kerryon Johnson. They also have.
Yeah, that's.
I
don't
know they
see that.
drafted another guy.
All they
Reconnected. Okay, here we go. All right, we're back. I don't know what happened there. It's probably my Wi-Fi.
How long have we been off? We good?
No, it just disconnected when I said that. So what were we talking? We were talking
Okay.
about the Lions.
The running
The
game and
running
they
game
haven't-
is
the last
not
time.
doing
Well, yeah, the last time they had a good running game was barely last year. I don't expect much from them because if they don't have a good running game, then I won't see, the Lions doing anything.
Because
they have to-
yeah, we did have this talk about it's gonna be a passing game. Angela was hyping that up, and you can see it. I can see it now. But the thing is, it's like
You need the
You know?
threat. You don't actually
You
have
need-
to use
you need
the running
something
game.
to
You
have
just need the
them
threat.
linebackers,
Something that you
back
can get
up or
6,
come forward.
5 or 6 yards every play. You just need that threat. If you know 10 and 10 times that Matthew Stafford is throwing to Kenny Galladay, then it's just
Like,
a
what if-
matchup
yeah.
nightmare. Yeah. So
It's just like, okay, like we see that coming every once in a while. Like
yeah, I mean they'll probably execute it maybe 6 out of 10 times. Well, I'm like, what if that 4 other times, like it's for like the third down to convert third down, or like convert the chains, for the game-winning field goal. It's like
I
one of those.
mean, are we gonna have like Matthew Stafford run it down and truck somebody? I mean, that only
Matthew
happens every
Stafford. I
once in a
mean,
while,
have you
so.
seen those highlights? Matthew Stafford
It's
could fill
amazing, man.
Okay.
He is.
So-
it's it.
I just finished the picks. My thoughts on the Lions. before I tell you guys like what I have, well, I'll just tell you that I had them going 7-9, which I think is about right for them, from what I think of them personally. Just Matthew Stafford, he's solid. He's good. He's an underrated quarterback. Like
Definitely, yeah.
he could be one of those guys who could just be a top 10. Even I could see it like a top 5 at any year. Like if he has a good year, he could be one of those guys.
He just needs to be like consistent with it, you know.
Yeah, like he's not consistent, but like I feel like if you built a passing offense around Matt Stafford and just said, "Hey, look, Matty, just sling it every year." Eventually, one of those years you're going to get like one of the best offenses in the NFL. Like
I feel like that Kenny Galladay and Matthew Stafford combo is gonna be like a Matt Ryan, Julio Jones, on like
it is.
the
It's like a light
Eventually, it's gonna
version.
get old though.
Light
That's the
version.
thing.
The thing about the Lions is, Emilio, and I think you were getting at it. You were saying like, "Oh, this is good," but like, I just don't see them winning, however many games or whatever. I just don't see them passing the Vikings or the Packers, and I think it's because of their coach. I just
Yes.
really
That's what I've
really
been
think
really
Patricia
Coaching.
is.
wondering, like, how come it hasn't changed yet?
Coaching definitely. I mean, that was barely his first year.
This
last
is
year.
his third year. He's coming into his third year. So last year was his second year. This is going to be his
Second year.
third season. So this is Patricia's do or die. If he has another bad season, he's out of Detroit, and I really don't see him having a good season. Like ever since he got there, he really what has he done?
Not been
He hasn't really
bad, right?
improved the roster.
He was
at all.
supposed to be the defensive guy who was supposed to like make the defense better, and arguably
The
the defense has
defense
gotten
is-
worse since he got there. So like
True.
I really don't know if there's any saving grace about Matt Patricia.
I'm
at this
just gonna
point.
I'm just gonna say, like, dude, this isn't the Patriots, you know. They're not gonna save him even if, you know, like his defense. Like, can we say his defense in the Patriots were like phenomenal? Because didn't they have the best defense when he was like gone this year?
Mhm.
Like, we can say that. We can agree to that, right? Like,
The Patriots,
they had
yeah,
yeah.
but
And
like
they-
you gotta
they kind
think,
of had a steady.
you gotta
a
think
steady-
though, Emilio,
And
like the defense has always been good in New England, and I feel like that's not because of the coordinators, but because of
It's mostly
Belichick.
because of Belichick. He's
Yeah.
the head of that.
Mm-hmm.
Like every defensive coordinator or even offensive coordinator that's left, the Patriots
Belichick.
has gone on to like bust. Very few have
Mhm.
actually had success, and it's because Belichick's the one who's running the show.
Yeah.
And I think the
Exactly.
Lions fell for it again with Patricia. They thought he was the one that was running that offense, when in reality it was. I mean, let's not say he didn't do anything. I'm sure like it's one of those
You mean
things
defense,
where.
right?
I'm talking about
Did he
Matt Patricia when he was on the Patriots.
It's
Oh,
basically, he just got advertised as a better coach.
Yeah, he got advertised as what he is. He's probably good as a defensive coordinator. Like I could see him
Yes.
after he gets fired from the Lions, he goes on to be a great defensive coordinator. I could see that happening. But just as a head coach, he was just not cut out for it. There's just a lot more that goes into it. Like he's really tried to revamp their run game.
Yeah, I
like,
feel like he definitely did help that a little bit. You know.
but like at the end of the day, I mean, I know you guys hate when I say the run game doesn't matter, but like run game, you can have the best run game in the league and still suck. Like, and the Niners last year were like, and the Ravens were like exceptions because we were running and averaging like fucking 8 yards a carry. Yeah, you run the ball, but like passing is just so much more efficient. And like I could understand trying to like run it more if you had a quarterback like a Trubisky or like a liability or like somebody who's just meh at quarterback. Like for the Vikings, I can understand them wanting to run more with Keenan or with not with Keenan, but fucking we just talked about him. You know what I mean? But like when you have
I
a
don't know
Matt
that running
Stafford,
back, so it's cool.
when you have Matt Stafford, I feel like yes, he is inconsistent, like you said, Emilio, but he has the potential to be like a top 10, top 5 guy. So like I feel like it's risky, but you gotta just roll the dice with it. Like live by the
Yeah,
pass,
faith
die
in
by
him.
the pass. That's what I would say. If I was the Vikings, that's what I would do. I would just go balls to the walls with the passing. I mean, try to draft defense and try to just build like an O line and draft a bunch of receivers for Matt Stafford to just sling it all day. And I mean, that's what I think. At the end of the day, when the Lions win, it's not because of the run game, it's not because of the defense, it's because Matthew Stafford pulled something out of his ass like every single time.
Yes.
They in fourth
Yeah.
quarter, Matthew Stafford
Yeah.
just comes back and wins the game off of some BS, you know, and it's
Mhm.
like that's how the
Not bad
Lions
all the
win.
time, though. It's like I feel like it's just they just need to like I don't know, how is their offensive line? Are they
The
even known
offensive
to be
line
like a
is
good
meh.
top 5?
Mm-mm.
It's not. That's
It's
not
very average. It's very average.
very average.
Oof. See, that's the thing, man. They just need to get the
I don't
offensive
know.
line
I
going
feel
back.
like the run game to a point. I feel like
Mhm.
it should support the quarterback and not like really, be involved too much, but not be involved too little. Because like you said, Matthew Stafford, like he's inconsistent, but if you can have the run game mix it up and like help open up plays for Matthew Stafford where he doesn't have to like throw in a tight pocket or anything like that. Like
Mhm.
if you can go ahead and get the run game, get some play action going. Like we saw firsthand what the 49ers did with their run game
Yeah,
and everything. That's different. Shanahan's a offensive
right.
minded god, but like you saying, like in the same aspect, like if you got that play action going, dude, like legit, like it's gonna make the offense so much easier for the QB to run, you know. So
Mhm.
Yeah, it's just a difference of philosophy. Like personally, I don't think that you need to run to set up play action. Like there's been multiple studies that showed like teams that run a certain amount of times in a game, how effective their play action plays are, and then teams that run less than that. And it's like
mm,
the play action works regardless of if you ran the ball 10 times, if you ran the ball 5 times, or if you haven't ran the ball at all. Play action just works. So I agree. Play action is awesome. You should run more play action. Teams should be running more play action, but I just don't think that you actually need to run the ball. It's kind of like a misconception. Like you don't need to run the ball to actually have a successful play action. But I mean, I do agree. Like having something there, like still run every once in a while. You don't have to like completely abandon the run and go
No,
air
no,
raid
don't
offense.
abandon the running game. It's just I feel like they just
the
need to get a better running game going. Matthew Stafford just needs a better coaching system. I
That's
want
what
to
the
say
main
that
thing
these
is.
guys
They need a
got
better
it, but
coach.
the thing is, it's just they can do something. But at the same time, I'm not giving too much, praise
I don't know.
because I'm like
The
these guys aren't gonna, give us what we want,
I
Yeah.
don't know. The way I see it, like if you can go ahead and limit the possibility for like a turnover, because like would you say like Matthew Stafford is pretty like I wouldn't say he's
He's
prone to turnovers, but like he's pretty like
Like I said, he's
he's not
inconsistent.
Eli
He's
though.
inconsistent.
he's inconsistent, but like I'm saying like if you can go ahead and like get chip away at 5 or 6 yards, and limit
But
the
they're
like
you're not
they
though.
are you
They're
I know
getting
you're
like they're
not.
getting like 2 yards every
No,
run.
but like I feel like they made steps in the right direction in their running game last year. I feel like they will like I don't know if they'll take a considerable jump in production this year, but if they're able to get some like maybe even 4 yards of let's say bare minimum 3 yards, like if they get 3 yards
They,
like
cause like
two or something like
honestly,
that,
the average
1 yard,
the
one
average
down.
of the NFL like running every NFL running game is around 3 yards. Like I don't know if you
three
knew that,
yards.
but like it's like
I
low
think
three
it's more
yards.
like it's not
Like
around
if you
Yeah,
four.
have
I
four
feel like we
yards per
shouldn't really get
carry,
into all of it, like of this. Like we kind of should like kind of like move on a little bit because we're kind of stuck with
all right,
the
all right,
not
that's fine.
Lions for a bit.
So just to
Like
close
I
up,
love it, but
it's
if
fine,
you
it's fine,
want
it's
to
fine.
like
Just to
cut it
close
down a
up,
little bit,
I have them losing to Week 1 Bears, Packers, Cardinals, Saints, Colts, Packers again, Bucks, and then Vikings in Week 17. Those are their losses.
So that's what 7-9.
Yeah, I have them 7-9.
I see them going between 5-11, 6-10. Best case scenario, 8-8.
They have a lot of easy games on their schedule. Like they
I'm
have
gonna
Jags,
go nine,
Falcons.
9-7, 10-6.
Okay, so
It'd
you
be a
kind of
miracle
have
hit
them in
11.
the
They could.
same. You have them in the same league as like Vikings around there.
I want to say though, I feel like if they just play their cards right, they can definitely do better than the Minnesota Vikings, and they can over, over.
I agree. I
over
think
them.
they have the better quarterback by far.
Yes.
All right.
Now, if we're
Let's-
saying that they about quarterback wise, we're definitely gonna go with Matthew Stafford.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Uh,
Let's go. Do you guys want to do Bears first or Packers first? Do we want to say the best for last, or
let's
do
do Bears. Let's do Bears.
Bears
Yeah.
first? Okay.
Okay, I'll go first. Defense, phenomenal, man. You got it. Quarterback wise, what are you doing? Fix it. Just change it up. You don't need Trubisky.
Easier
You don't
easier
need
said than
Trubisky.
done. The Bears have been looking
You
for a
don't need
quarterback
Trubisky.
since the 1960s, bro.
This ain't, you know, the 40s. This ain't the.
We need to
The
go back to
80s.
the glory days of Jay Cutler.
At least, okay, I can say this. At least they had a better opportunity in the playoffs. You know, they actually gave the Packers a run for their money every once in a while. Like we can agree to that, right?
That's because all you gotta do is break his collarbone with clear neck.
Oh shit.
We're talking about breaking something, dang. But no, I feel like the Bears have that defense like the old days. They just need that offense a lot better, and they definitely should not do it with Trubisky. The guy may be like, you know,
they just brought in Nick Foles, but even then, I don't know if he's like
I don't know.
gonna
Nick
be
Foles
that
did
much
it
better than
once.
Trubisky.
I don't know if he can do it again. I say he can be. I say Nick Foles still to stay is kind of still underrated. He's a good quarterback.
He's a good
he just hasn't
backup.
find.
He's a good backup. I don't know if he's a quality starter.
He's not the best, but he does what he can.
He's somebody that you could run a play, a trick play where QB goes out and passes a touchdown. Maybe that's okay.
It's called Philly,
Okay.
Philly, Isaiah. Come
Imagine,
on.
imagine. Okay, I'm not gonna say the name. It's either way, it's a trick play.
Oh, is it a trademark?
It's like legit. That's just what they call it. It's like every other team has run a play like that at some point. But
Yeah.
anyways, but like. I could Trubisky. He's done. I don't think he's even gonna start this year.
He is. Come on,
yeah,
man.
he's not gonna
They're
start.
all on Trubisky's balls, dude.
No, dude. I
the Bears
think
owners like
he has 1 foot out the door. If he has
this
a
is
bad
like his year. It's do or
preseason-
die, basically. It's the do or die. You either do it now, Trubisky, or you're done. Okay.
I mean, I could see him
I
starting
think
out.
that was last year, Emilio. I think it's do or die
Basically,
was
yeah,
last
they
year.
brought in. They just legit traded for Nick Foles for this reason. They're like, yeah, we need to patch it up with some flex tape or something. Put some Nick Foles in there. But yeah, I mean their defense, it's definitely great. I don't know if it'll be top 5 like it usually is. I mean, just with their defensive backs, it's like kind of iffy. The front seven's pretty solid, but like with how much the run game is limited in today's NFL, that's not gonna mean jack shit.
Yeah.
So, who's their cornerbacks right now? Who's their corners?
Oof.
Uh.
I'm not gonna try to sugarcoat that they can have something
All right, we're back.
and thinking they always have a
back.
chance. I'm just gonna
Emilio,
say that.
Emilio.
No,
You
no,
can't just.
I'm
Well,
just gonna
Going
say
on a
that
tangent.
the Bears,
it cut in mid-sentence though. Nobody knows what you're talking about.
I'm just gonna say. I know. I'm just gonna
Just gonna
tell
say
them
the
a little-
Bears suck. That's what he's gonna
Exactly.
say.
The Bears.
There you go.
suck.
That's
Okay,
the 3 words.
That's fine. That's
They
fine,
suck.
Emilio. You have to say why they suck. Though.
They ain't gonna
This is a
do
podcast.
I don't agree with the shut up. They suck.
Have you seen
They have a great
That's why
defense. They have a great defense, but if they want to change, they need to change that offensive scheme. They need to change.
I don't know if it's even the scheme. It's more just the quarterback. Because I feel like Miyagi, he's a pretty good.
At the end
when
of
it
the
comes
day,
to
though,
scheming.
like
Because look,
Isaiah. No. At the end of the day, you can say they need to change their quarterback, but then who are they going to change it to? There's a lot of quarterbacks that are like already taken.
they could go
up.
ahead and
There's a
get
lot of
Cam Newton.
quarterbacks that
They
are-
could sign Cam Newton. I don't know why.
Oh,
they
that's
don't.
right. I keep
Cam
forgetting
Newton's still
about
out there.
Dead Newton. I'm sorry, I'm calling him Dead Newton right now because he's nowhere to be known to be noticed. He's just quiet. Dead Newton, man.
Okay,
I feel like
so
he has
Isaiah,
opportunity.
you were talking before the stream cut out. What did you want to say?
Defensive. So the front seven's pretty
I like
good,
that.
but like I said, defensive backs. Kyle Fuller. I don't think he's an elite. I don't know if he's a pretty. I feel like he's a solid corner 2, But like on the other side, like who else they got? They got like another what? Who's the other guy on the other side?
I don't know, but I know it's
He's
thought.
definitely not good enough to be covering and like the better receivers in this league. If I don't even know his name, sorry about that. But and also they have Eddie Jackson as a safety, but like what's a safety gonna do? I mean, if he breaks up and gets a pick here and there, but like realistically, if he's not gonna be covering, the number one receiver, then there's only so much he can do.
I feel like you definitely need good safeties, but like,
You definitely need good safeties, but like if you got like Mike Thomas on the other side, Eddie Jackson's not gonna do anything.
yeah, but at the same time, you have Mike Thomas in the slot, who's gonna do anything about that? The safety's got to cover him eventually.
I mean, yeah, realistically, but how often that safety
Ideally,
can cover him?
ideally, you would
Well,
want a
you do
good
have that.
safety and a
You
good.
still gotta
Yes,
watch
you
out.
do. You definitely do want a good safety, but
But
I'd
the
rather have
thing
a good
is,
corner.
the thing is for the Bears is that their plan is to like have that rush taking like that front the
That pass
front
rush.
men to get in there and make sure that they don't have time to go for a deep pass to where it makes their safeties having to cover Michael Thomas or anybody they want to make sure they get in there because that's why they got Khalil Mack. They got Khalil Mack in there so they can have someone to stress those offensive linemen to worry them to maybe all right, we got to get him. If he barges in, that's it. And that takes a lot of stress off the other guys. Khalil Mack's gonna have a lot more work, but at the same time, the other guys are gonna have less work, which gives the opportunity for them to make a play. Then you got the linebackers that can also help. That you can either, blitz in there and cause a huge, uh, interruption, of the whole play that they were trying to do. If they're trying to go deep, they're gonna have to hit it quick. That's why I like the Bears defense. They know that they're not strong on a lot of parts, but they know that they got that front to slow down things in case they try to go deep or try to make a big splash play. Um, but if anything, they have safe picks with like Eddie Jackson and all them or Kyle Fuller. Like they
Yeah.
have those are some safe picks, to make sure that in case if something does happen, they can rely on those guys because those guys do make good plays. I'm not saying they're trash. I'm not saying they're garbage. I'm not saying they're the best though, but they're definitely somebody you would want on your team to make sure if anything goes bad, the front didn't get through. I'd rather have those guys, do some
Right.
pass defense.
At the end
But
of
yeah,
the day, the offense is gonna have to put up points, even if the defense hold them
that's the thing. That's the
0.
thing. You can't
Zero.
have
All they
Khalil
need,
Mack running it
all they
back.
need, all they need is one play to set up a field. There you go. Your whole the defense's efforts is all gone to waste if they can't put up points on
All
the
out the
board.
door. Exactly.
Yeah.
So I can praise the defense as much as I want, but at the end of the day, you have to score points. And
Yes.
Trubisky, I don't know if I seen it last season. I didn't see it the season before, but last season I barely saw anything. And I just seen even the first game, the opening, you had Green Bay versus the Packers. No, obviously Green Bay and Chicago Bears. uh, Khalil Mack made a huge storm, dude. And then what happens? You see the Packers come back, and they took the game, right? They took the game back.
Was
And is that
that
right?
was the week one?
That was the
That was
first
like
year.
That was week one.
I
Khalil Mack making a
The
big
Packers
move.
they came back. Yes, they came
'Cause
back.
I remember.
so.
I don't know if it was Aaron Rodgers or somebody threw a bomb to Randall Cobb. No. It was somebody. Adams. He threw it to Adams deep. They made a big play. Is that right?
I
Yeah, so
don't think you're right.
at the end, okay, but to sum it all up, I think their defense is great, but like the offense, I love their I could say they got a potential to be a good offense, except one thing is that to be even reach that potential, they have to have like a mediocre quarterback at the least, and they don't have that. So I can see them going like what 4-12.
Yeah,
5-11.
I have them going 4-12. You hit it on the nail right there. Yeah, I mean, how much time do we realistically want to spend on the Bears? Because like they're not.
There's only so much
we
you
don't have
can
to go any
break
further.
down.
I feel like that's it.
Because I was gonna bring up the the conversation of pass rush versus coverage, like you were talking about earlier, Emilio. But we could talk about that for a while.
To a different team.
Yeah, and like I mean, I would if it was a better team, but this is the Bears we're talking about. Like realistically,
This ain't gonna be a miracle.
This team, we're gonna talk about this team not that much during the actual season. Once the actual season starts, we're gonna mention this team far and few between. So let's
Bears
move
who?
on.
To the Packers.
Let's move on to the Packers, the last team in this division.
Ooh.
I already have them 5-1 just off of divisional games, which I might need to
Wow.
tone that back a little bit. But
Maybe one loss at most.
let's go. Let's start this one off with Isaiah. What have the Packers added this offseason, and do you think that'll make them better or worse this season?
They legit added nothing, so they're just gonna get worse. At the end of the day. That's the rule. That's the rule of thumb in the NFL.
No,
Well,
no,
okay,
no.
they added something. They added stuff.
They added a quarterback.
Yeah.
They added Aaron Rodgers' replacement,
got,
which makes Aaron Rodgers upset.
Okay, besides their first round pick, they have more than just a first round pick. No, they
They didn't draft the receiver, which they needed. And like, what else did they draft with their picks? Like, they drafted what?
I honestly forgot. I was asking
I
you.
think. Oh, I thought that was a rhetorical question.
No.
So I know. I think they drafted a running back. I think that's what they did. They drafted a running back.
I think you might be right.
Yeah, I'm just looking it up real quick. Or you got a
mean-
computer set in front of you. You can just look it up real quick. Or I'll do it for
No, it's
you.
fine. Yeah, just do it for me. You be the look. And then while he's doing that, Emilio, what do you think about the Packers?
Oh, do you really want me to say what I think about the Packers?
Just go. Just say what you think about the Packers.
I think the Packers are doo-doo. Big trash.
Wow.
I'm
Whoa.
tired of the Packers. They always, every year, they start off slow, then they come back, then they go to the playoffs, then they're done. Stop. Packers, if you want to do something, please fix that wide receiver core. Please. You can't have Adams do everything. And Jesus Christ, get
Okay.
some defense, man.
I think I'm ready.
Please. Did
Okay.
you not
So,
see the Niners
basically-
run all over the Packers?
We're
Alright,
just
let's-
that good.
It was sad.
Let Isaiah go. Let Isaiah go.
Oh, you asked
So
for me.
basically,
Well, yes,
they,
but
I know, but you've been replaced. So at this point, they drafted their Jordan Love, which is definitely a project for the next year or two. And then they drafted a running back in the second round. They drafted a tight end, which could potentially help their receiving core, but I don't think it's going to be that much of a boost. And then they drafted a linebacker, which is not going to affect the offensive game at all.
and then
draft-
after that pick,
guard.
it's not going to be
They
relevant.
drafted a guard and then they center. So basically, they didn't help their team substantially at all.
What about free
Yeah.
agency though? That's what I was mainly thinking about because I honestly haven't been following the Packers too closely, but I vaguely remembered that they added something during the
They
offseason.
signed literally nothing. They signed Mercedes Lewis, tight end, Christian Kirksey, a linebacker, and Devin Funchess, a receiver, and then Rick Wagner. So everything that they went into the draft, they basically signed somebody at that position anyways. But like they drafted Devin Funchess, which is I would say slightly an upgrade over the receiver 2 just because of how bad the receiver 2 is. I mean, they got some potential there with what's his name, Geronimo Allison, or like what's the other dude's name? I'm blanking on his name, but they got some potential for a receiver too. But like if they can have somebody jump ahead of the pack and help out Aaron Rodgers with Devontae Adams, then yeah, that would help a lot because then it's just a Devontae Adams show. But even then, like Aaron Rodgers, I feel like he's still at the point of his career where he can, elevate their play or the receiver core. But there's only so much he can do.
Wait, is Angelo
right now.
talking?
No.
No, he's just chilling. But
Okay.
I will
don't-
talk though.
I don't think their offense. Like I don't know. I think Matt LaFleur, or is that his name? The coach.
Yeah, LaFleur.
I think he's a downgraded version of Kyle Shanahan, which is not a bad thing. But I don't think he's definitely good enough to be going up against the better, in the competition of the defensive scheme teams like that. I mean, there'll be like every once in a while, like who'll scheme up something. But I feel like it's just mostly because, he's got Aaron Rodgers on that side of the field. And, like, their defensive scheme is, like, it's whatever. I mean, I really like the corners. I feel like the corners are pretty good. I like I could say that they got a pretty good pass rush with Preston Smith, and then Zadarius Smith. They definitely got some potential to be a great defense next year. But like I said, if Aaron Rodgers has to throw to just Devontae Adams, there's only so far they can go.
Yeah, I agree. So I have the pack going 9-7, and I don't completely agree with Emilio that the Packers suck. I don't think they suck. I do think though that this division is hot garbage, and
Oh yes.
it's very
That's very
irritating
good.
because there's a team like the Packers where like yes, they were in the NFC Championship game last year. We can't ignore that. But like
But they had a bye. They had a bye.
They had a
And they
bye.
And they
They're-
had to beat what team? What the Seahawks, which they barely
Seattle.
won.
Barely
Yeah.
won, but
They
we can
still
all
have
say
Aaron
won in
Rodgers.
Lambeau.
Seattle did get that first down. I'm just saying.
It's one of those things where it's like, on paper they should not be good, but I do think LaFleur is a good coach, not a great coach, and I think this team lives and dies by his development as a head coach. Like if
Did
he
they,
can,
It was his first year last. We'll see. Maybe they get worse. Maybe they get better. Because thing about coaches in their first year, like we seen with Sean McVay, like he did good his first year.
yeah, but then he inherited an amazing roster. in his first
Amazing
year.
roster, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Even with
I'm gonna
that,
say this. I'm just gonna
Go ahead.
say this. As much as I don't like the Packers, honestly, I'm not saying they're gonna suck. They're not. They always just find a way to win because they have Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers is just a scary quarterback. He's a clutch quarterback. He's the only one I've seen do so many Hail Marys like nothing. So I'm
I
just
don't know
gonna
if
say
Aaron Rodgers is good enough to carry an offense.
He's done
to
it.
13 wins.
he's done it. I've seen
Not-
him
I
do
don't-
it.
At this point in his career, I think he could
He did
definitely
it, like,
still carry a
He
team.
did it when he got hurt. He got hurt, and they were most likely like, all right, yeah, they are not making playoffs. They got to win these last couple games. And what did Aaron Rodgers do? He did what nobody thought was gonna happen. And till this day, I'm still like, I praise the guy because he is an elite quarterback. He is a clutch quarterback. And that's the thing. I don't like him because he beat us twice in the damn NFC division.
To be
So-
fair, you guys would have beaten them that 1 year if they threw it a catch, but that's a different
Yeah.
story for another time.
Anyways,
But
as much as I don't think the Packers are that good, I do think they are the best team in this division.
Yep.
Like I said, if LaFleur can advance his play calls, like it really depends, because he could look at that game against the Niners in the NFC Championship game and just think, wow, okay, we need to run the ball more. We need to do what Shanahan's doing, and like
They do have
that
Aaron Jones, yes.
that might be the wrong message. That might be the wrong play, because like you said, they didn't draft any receivers. So they're not really helping Aaron Rodgers out here, and he really badly needs help. I could see the Packers being one of those teams that starts off really slow, and I mean, I have them starting off. I lost to the Vikings, Lions, and Saints. Those are their first 3 games. I could see them losing those 3 games and then making a trade either week 4 or sometime around the trade deadline for
they can
for a
definitely make a big
receiver.
splash here.
Yeah, for a receiver, and helping Aaron Rodgers out and then pulling it back. I mean, at the end of the day, it's still Aaron Rodgers. I think their defense is underrated. It's good enough to help win them some games. And Aaron Rodgers is Aaron Rodgers. He's gonna keep doing what he does. He's not. Let's
And I
be
keep
real. He's not
He's not
what he used to be.
an MVP, Roger.
He's not an MVP caliber quarterback anymore, but he's still a top 10 quarterback. He's still a top 10 guy. He's not a top 5 guy. He's still a top 10 guy though.
He's around 6 or 8 around there. But what do you have him predicted to go?
I have him winning the division at 9-7, tying with the Vikings,
Really?
but they beat him with tiebreakers.
I don't know. I personally feel
I
like the
can
Packers,
see that.
they're better than 9-7. I feel like they're more of a 11-5.
11-5. Well, I'll tell you their
I
losses.
still want to say that the Lions still have like a sneak they can do.
I mean,
They
Lions
can
are
sneak in
8-8.
there.
Like all 3 of these teams, 9-7, 9-7, 8-8. Packers, Vikings, Lions.
I don't know. I feel like the gap between
Packers,
the Lions and the
Vikings,
Vikings is
Lions.
that the Packers are just slightly a tier. above those two teams. I feel like.
Yeah, and I mean, okay, that might be true, Isaiah, but like just because a team is like you said, like a tier above them, doesn't mean that the schedule is going to reflect that with their record. Like
Definitely.
you can have teams that are better than other teams, and they end up with a worse record just because of the way the schedules work out. Like I do think the Packers are better than the Vikings and Lions, but like, just the way it worked out, I don't know. I only have them winning 9 games, maybe 10 games.
Because they at all the teams in NFC North, they're going to be facing. What teams are they facing? What division are they facing? Because every year, a team has to face off against another division.
They're facing the South. Wait.
The NFC South.
No.
Because every year there's a team if a team has to face.
Oh, they're facing the AFC South. Sorry.
AFC South, so they face the whole AFC South.
And the AFC South is garbage.
It is garbage.
So this whole division's going to be inflated, but they're actually a lot worse. So, I mean, okay, I just have them losing to the Vikings. I have them splitting with the Vikings, splitting with the Lions. They lose to the Saints in week 3. They lose to the Niners in week 9. They lose to the Colts in week 11. I have them losing to the Eagles and the Titans in week 13 and 16. So those games are the ones where it's
I feel like they win those 2 games. Those ones, especially if it's a final push.
I could see you could debate that, like late in the season, Rodgers always finds a way.
Especially if it's a fight for like a bye week or like, is this the year?
I don't think they're gonna be in the fight for that. Honestly, I think the Saints.
You never know, man. Just because of how a dog fight it is in the NFC.
I do think that, but I think it's gonna be a three-man race between the Saints, the Cowboys, and the Niners for that bye week. That's what it's. Because remember, this season there's only gonna be 1 bye week.
This season?
I'm pretty sure it's this season. Yeah. So you have
This is the 17. This is 17 playoff.
I believe so. I could be wrong.
Because you can't. Because
No,
you
I
can't
thought
have
it was next year in 2021.
No, next
Like
year
next
when they're
season.
doing the 17 game.
Oh, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think they're implementing the playoff thing this year, though. I could be wrong about that. If I'm wrong about that, then maybe they're in the mix. But even then, I still think that they're not gonna. By the time, like, week 16 rolls around, I don't see it. And I think the Eagles just sneak one off of them. Who knows? I might change that when we get to the Eagles.
I don't know. So.
All right.
So
to sum up,
here's what we're gonna do. Let's just sum it up. Yeah.
To sum up.
So we got.
I
okay,
feel like. Okay, you go ahead.
No, go ahead. I was gonna sum up the division. You were gonna talk about the Packers still, yeah?
Yeah. So the Packers, I feel like they have a great potential for defense. I like their corners. I like their pass rush. You know, the linebackers, it doesn't really matter, but they did upgrade it a little. Their offense, they have a stud receiver. They got a stud quarterback. They have a stud running game with a running back, but like you said, it only can take you so far. The receiver 2, absolute nobody, garbage, water boy level, tight end. Nothing really going on there, but like, you know, it's whatever. But like overall, I'll say like I feel like they're a balanced team. A pretty good defense and a pretty good potential on offense, just because they have Devontae Adams and Aaron Rodgers.
All right, that sums them up pretty good. I just switched the Eagles game. I'll give them the Eagles game, so that brings them up to 10-6.
Okay. And then
Yeah,
the division,
and this division, honestly, to wrap up this division, in short, everyone's bad, but the Packers float to the top of the dumpster pile just because they have a franchise quarterback and a good defense. So
I like how this division was supposed to be one of the better divisions in NFL.
it was really hyped up last year, and then yeah. Anyways, let's move on. We might only be able to get through NFC North and South, but let's go through the South. So let's start from the bottom. Panthers. Emilio, first thoughts. Panthers.
I know how you like them Panthers.
I used to like them Panthers. How about them Panthers? Not no more. What I could say is that they lost Cam Newton. The running game is phenomenal. I mean, Christian McCaffrey's killing it. But at the end of the day, it's like, how are you gonna do something if you don't have a quarterback? Again, like with the Bears situation, but I still think even then the Panthers are really not gonna make a big impact. They're just gonna have a decent, maybe 4 or 5 wins, I can say, the top. Um, I don't know. It's just they need a lot to fix up. You know, they're definitely on rebuilding. So I'm gonna say Panthers are not gonna have a good, big splash. So they're gonna be all right. They're gonna be okay.
They're gonna be all right. So
Be
what's
They're
all
alright.
not even
right?
gonna be all right. Actually, never mind. I realize all right's a nice way of saying it. They're gonna be oof. They're gonna be oh
Oof.
no.
Alright,
There
okay.
you go.
Angela, you want to
Cause
go
sorry,
ahead?
cause I'm playing like
Um,
I'm playing at the same time we're talking, so I'm trying to think as we go.
I
So it's
mean,
kind
you
of
could just
funny.
stop playing. No, it's fine.
No, no.
All
Just
right.
stop
Yeah.
playing.
Isaiah, I'm still making my picks, so I'm finishing up. So
Alright,
you.
so go ahead. I'm just gonna look for the Panthers additions.
Okay, I can talk then. Yeah,
Oof.
I just okay. So last season, last year going into the season, I told these guys that the Panthers were gonna finish bottom of their division, and we made a little. Well, we didn't really make a bet, but um, we kind of just decided to put a note on that and see who was right. Because Emilio, I don't think you thought they were going to win the division, but you thought they were going to be up
They're
there.
gonna do something at
Yeah,
least.
you thought they
Yeah.
were going to be top two, and then I mean, don't want to toot my own horn, but it looks like I was right. No, but I don't see anything changing from this season to last season. Their additions haven't. I mean, I don't think they made necessarily bad additions, but like losing
It's not big.
Cam,
It's not big, you know.
yeah, losing Cam Newton, like the last season. The only thing that made me think the Panthers might be able to do something is because they had Cam Newton, and I'm not a huge like I don't think Cam Newton's
Who's gonna do it for
a
them?
lot of people like
They
see
overrate him.
Cam Newton as that like franchise guy because he had that MVP season, and I think he was one of those guys who just happened to have a really good season, kind of like Joe Flacco. Um, it I
I
don't
feel
think
like he's
he's
better than.
I think he has the potential though to do that at any time, where it's like kind of like a Matt Stafford, where he could for one season I can see him getting back to that level. I don't see him doing it consistently though, and that's like last season. My only reservation with the Panthers was if somehow Cam Newton gets healthy and turns it around and like has one of those not maybe not necessarily MVP caliber season, but if he has like a really good season, then I could see the Panthers making noise. Maybe still not over the Saints, but like I could
What are
have
we
saw
talking
them
about? Cam
doing
Newton
something.
right now?
Yeah, but anyways,
They
what
gave
I'm
him away, no?
yes, I was getting to that. I'm
I
saying
was like,
they don't even have that. They don't even have that
they don't
aspect of
have
the
that
team
anymore.
anymore.
Yeah.
So now it's literally just like what's gonna take the Panthers over the top? What's gonna like win them games? Christian McCaffrey, like I just don't see it. I don't
He
see
really
it.
did carry that team, though. I
He
mean, you
did,
gotta
and they were
say
still
He
ass.
tried his hardest.
He was the
he
best running back in the
legit.
NFL, and they were still fucking garbage. Like it's just not gonna happen with the Panthers. I have them going 4-12. So
four
Isaiah,
and 12.
do you want to talk?
Okay.
I can see that. I can
So
see.
the biggest signing that they made this year was Teddy Bridgewater, and then they signed like a Farrah Cooper, which is not really that big of a signing. They also signed Robbie and did they sign Robbie Anderson? They did. So they signed Robbie Anderson, which is like
Oh, that's right. They have Teddy. I forgot about Teddy, dude.
they
Teddy
just
Two
signed Teddy,
Gloves.
and also they drafted Derek Brown, a solid defensive lineman.
I don't think Derek Brown is that good, but
He's
I'm
solid.
gonna say this because I forgot.
Then
I
they
keep
drafted a
forgetting.
defensive
I wish
end.
we did this earlier, like in the beginning, because that's when I remembered most of these fucking trades that happened and all these signings. But um, Teddy, yeah, Teddy Bridgewater can maybe boost him up to a 6. I'm gonna even say that 6, 7,
I could see
because
that. But I mean,
Teddy, he had a good start. Well, he was 5-0 with the Saints when he came back, and then they like, all right, you got to go because Drew Brees is here and he's gonna lead us to the Super Bowl. Nah, not really, but yeah.
yeah,
So okay. So I feel like Teddy, if he plays like he did with the Saints for that 5 game stretch, if he comes close to that, you know, I feel like
Hmm.
the Panthers could potentially, they might even like, depending on the circumstances, I feel like they could finish above the Bucks in the division. Because if the Bucks flop and they underperform, I feel like the all three teams, the Bucks, the Falcons, and the Panthers, I can see them ending up as around 7-9, 8-18. If that the Bucks underperform and the Panthers they play up, just because I like their receiving core, I like the Panthers receiving core. They have what's his name, Curtis Samuel. They have DJ Moore, which is going to be a stud next year. I'm telling you
Yeah.
right now, that's my guy. That's my guy.
I can
He's
see
got
it.
10.
I can see
That
that
is
Like
one.
going
That is
the
one of
season,
Isaiah's guys.
the season that he had with freaking Kyle Allen at quarterback, that tells you how much. Like he finished top 5 in receiving with Kyle Allen at quarterback.
DJ Moore
So
was killing it, dude.
he's gonna be up there. If Teddy plays, like a top 15 quarterback, then yeah, the offense could definitely do some damage. They have a good receiving core. They have a good running back. The offensive line. It's I don't
Needs
know.
work.
It's slightly. I would say it's slightly under the league average for play or tackle. I think around there. And then their defense. They. I don't know. I
Their
don't even know
defense is what makes me
their defense
hesitant.
is.
If they had a good defense, I could see them being like a Lions or a Vikings where they have like a 9-win season, 8-win season, but
Hmm.
it's a mixture of the fact that I don't have any faith in their defense at all. I don't have any faith in their offense, even with Teddy Two Gloves, as much as I love him. And
Sorry.
they're in arguably one of the best divisions in football with the
Definitely,
Saints
yes.
and the
And they're just
Bucks.
gonna with all that firepower, dude. You can't afford to have a mediocre defense.
Exactly.
Their defense is that's why I believe it's what it's going to be. Like they have Brian Burns. He's a pretty good edge rusher for rookie. He was very underrated.
Alexa, lower.
He's definitely if he was in a draft class that didn't have Bosa or Josh Allen, he definitely would have been up there for the running
I agree.
for
They
a
have
defensive rookie
pieces.
year.
They have pieces,
They have pieces, but they need the whole plate.
yeah, no, I mean
got
think
a couple
about
places
like
of
the Niners under Kyle Shanahan on defense. We've had pieces for years since he got here. We've had pieces, but you really especially for defense on defense you need every single position to be good. Like you can't have any holes.
Most of the time it's one-on-one. What it is. Most of the time it's
Yes,
one-on-one. So.
offenses are so good nowadays that they will exploit that one bad corner that you have. They'll exploit him, and we saw it over and over and over again until
need to be
last
reminded.
season. Yeah.
I need to be reminded of that. It happened as recent as last year.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Anyways, Emilio, do you have anything else to say about the
Right.
Panthers before we move on?
No, I'm good.
Okay. Let's move on to the Falcons. I think it's clear that the Panthers and the Falcons are the bottom two teams in this division. You can make an argument for the Falcons, I think, but consensus would have me think that these are the bottom two teams. So, Isaiah, do you know their additions off the top of your head, or should I go to
I'm looking
Emilio
it up
first?
right now.
Okay, Emilio, opening thoughts on the Falcons. What do you think coming into this season?
Man, I really don't know. They got Todd Gurley, but he just has not been the same. He has not been the same. But at the same time, he's been with the Rams to a point where I can see that he's gonna fall off a little bit, and maybe a fresh start is a good spot for him. So maybe Todd Gurley can help definitely a lot. I mean, Devontae Freeman kind of was like, you kind of saw he had that 1 year, and then it just slowly just started going down, nothing working out. Matt
Ryan.
Yeah, Matt Ryan. I don't like the guy. I really don't like him as a quarterback there anymore. He was having a good start in the beginning and then the mid, and then he get to the Super Bowl, and I'm just like, I think it's time they need to change that. And I like how we keep bringing up quarterbacks, but definitely Matt Ryan needs...
It is the most important position on the team.
It needs to be changed, and I know they're not going to change it anytime soon. I give it another 2 years. Julio is, I feel like he's
Julio.
already at that it's Julio. You know, I'm not worried about Julio. He still puts up the numbers. He still does his thing. Um, I just don't really see the Falcons going anywhere either. Really, you know, it's gonna be probably the same thing as last year. Not really like that much happening, but you know they're there. Um, they could be like definitely like like a big opponent against the Saints. Like last year, they had a very intense couple
Game,
games.
Thanksgiving
Yeah,
game right
yeah,
there.
those were pretty good. And I'm just saying, like I know Todd Gurley came in and helped, and they probably added another couple good players. But I don't know. I could say they can definitely get over 9 wins. I can say,
9
but
wins
somehow.
That's a
hmm
big.
in
I
that
feel like the
division.
best case scenario. That's not
Well,
even
I mean, because you got Carolina, you got the Saints, and I'm sure they're gonna take one from the Saints. You got who's the last
the
The
Bucks.
besides the
Bucks.
Falcons? The Bucks. Ooh, that's right. I can see them take one from Brady. Um, maybe I am giving it too much.
That's
I
a
would
little
say at least
rich for me.
that's a little over. Yeah, I can say 8, 9, and they can barely have a good stretch going. I can see that.
Okay, Isaiah, do you want to go first, or do you want me to go first?
Well, like I said, I feel like they're a 7-9 team around there, 8-8, and that's if everything goes right for them. Just because of how tough that division is. But they added a pretty good cornerback and draft AJ Terrell, and then they drafted a defensive end in the second round. And then after that, it's just basically nothing really too impactful for the team. They did draft a center. His name's Hennessy. That's all you need to know. What- they added Tall Gurley, but I don't think that's gonna affect anything. Tall Gurley's like at this point, his knee's not gonna
You're
hold
saying
up.
he's washed up?
He's washed. You
I
know,
think it's gonna be different. I think
he
it's
might
gonna
have
be a little different.
flashes here and there where he'll go off for like 40, 50 yards, but like how that's not really gonna
It's
affect the
not gonna
game.
move the needle much.
It's not gonna move the needle. And then they added Dante Fowler at the edge, which is he's pretty okay. You know, I mean their defense has pieces like you said earlier. If you have to have the whole plate, you can't have the two-piece drumstick and not have the whole plate. You're not gonna feed nobody. um, yeah, so that's not a recipe. That's not a good recipe right there. Their defense is you know in that like I said in that division you have to have a good defense. So and then their offense, they have all the pieces. They have all the potential, but I just don't like Dan Quinn. I don't think he can maximize the talent from Matt Ryan, Julio, Calvin Ridley. They even added who's their third receiver? I just
um,
know that the receiver core is pretty good.
yeah, no, they
Pretty
have
good.
talent. They have talent.
They have talent at receiver. They just lost Austin Hooper. That my
To the biggest contract ever.
Yeah, which is I'm like, okay, Austin Hooper was good, but like they added Hayden, which I'm like, okay, they're not gonna miss that much, especially if you
No.
got like he's just gonna be catching red zone
It's a
targets
downgrade,
basically.
but it's not anything
It's a
that's gonna
downgrade. It's
really
not that
affect
big
them
of a
that much.
downgrade. I don't think. I think Austin Hooper is overrated.
Yeah, definitely.
So they could definitely go into a shootout with the Saints, but like that one drive that the Saints could stop them, and they can't. That's the big difference. Same thing goes for the Bucks. You know,
Hmm.
so that's why I have them going 7-9. And I really, if they had better coaching, if they had a coach similar to a Sean Payton or even Bruce Arians, they definitely could be closer to a 9 or 10 win team. But like I said, they don't have that good of a coaching person.
Yeah. Okay. I'm bouncing between two games right here, but I think what I'm gonna finalize end up with is 6-10 for the Falcons. So the Falcons and the Chargers, every single year, I always hype them up. I always fall for the hype on these teams. On paper, they should be really good teams, and every year they let me down. So I'm not. This is the year where I finally just no. No, the Falcons are gonna be bad this year. But um, this is the first year where I really feel like there's not really anything to be hyped over. Like they've lost pieces. They've only gotten worse since last season, and it's
Lower.
like at this point they could add all the offensive firepower they want. They could have gotten Hopkins, and I still wouldn't think that they would have a good offense just because Dan Quinn is that bad of a head coach. And
Oh man, yes.
I really just
Still,
I really just don't
still.
think they're gonna do anything until they fire that guy, and then by then it'll probably be too late. At least for Matt Ryan, they'll probably have to go do a rebuild. So it's
I'm
kind of
still.
sad because this Falcons team was really fun to watch with Julio and Matt Ryan, but I think
At this point, they can't make a coach change this late
yeah,
without having to do a rebuild.
it's their window has closed, and I think this season's gonna be the end of it. And what happens to those players? I'll be excited. I wonder if I don't know when Julio's contract's gonna end or Matt Ryan's, but like I would like to see what they do if they stick it out through the rebuild or if they try to reload. I feel like they might be one of those teams that tries to reload and
Extend
extend it, and it's
their
just gonna be
window. It's gonna be
ugly.
ugly.
It's gonna not be pretty. Um, but yeah, I have them. Even with all that, I have them winning 6 games because they're a team that can still sneak out wins. You know, like Matt Ryan, he might be a little bit um getting washed, but like every once in a while he'll pull out that MVP Matt Ryan. And I mean last year they beat us, they beat the Niners. Nobody expected that. It's just
Did
every
not
once in a
expect that.
while they just
The goal line. That
yeah,
goal line.
like they have that potential. They have that potential to win those types of games. So I do think they'll be better than the Panthers, but marginally better. I think both of these teams are going to be at the bottom of this division. Uh, is there anything you want to say on the Falcons before we move on, Emilio, or should we move on to the Bucks?
Uh,
You could say just
I
really
may have
quick.
gave him too much of a hype, really, really too much of a hype because their coach is just. They need to switch it. It's kind of like the whole Jason Garrett and Dallas situation. You know, he had that one
Yeah,
good year, but like you get tired of the same coaching and not going anywhere. And at the same time, it's like he really like he had that one Super Bowl run, and then now it's kind of like
That was when Shanahan was the offensive coordinator.
right.
and now it's just like it's time to change some things, and I can still see them get some steals. That's why like I can definitely see them.
Yeah, I have them stealing
Winning
a game off
games.
the Saints in Week 13 because they always, every year, they get that one game that nobody expects them to win, and they just come out and steal it. So I think that this
Yeah,
year it might be Week 13 against the Saints.
it's
They're
gonna be
definitely
tough.
They're definitely a team to watch for spoilers.
Yeah, no, yeah. They like their offense is just phenomenal. I'm telling you, their defense is still hanging in there barely, but it's like I don't know if it's like I don't want to like you said it's gonna be that year. That's gonna be their year. I'm
Every
tired
year.
of it too. I think that they can just probably get to second if they do really good, but definitely they'll be third or last. I would say.
Yeah, all right.
Well, Carolina's gonna definitely take that last spot, but third or
For the
last.
Bucks.
Yeah,
And
I could see a world where Carolina does better than the Falcons this season. Either way, I think both of these teams are
those two teams are clearly the
clearly the
worst two.
yeah. So let's move on to the Bucks, who this is
Who's
the off-season hype train.
very overhyped. I'm sorry.
Off-season champion Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Definitely, they added
Newly
a 42-year-old Tom Brady.
a 42-year-old
And
Tom Brady.
then they added a year off Gronk, who last year didn't look pretty.
Okay, so
Or 1 year before he was
who wants to talk about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers first?
there. Oh, the Tampa Bay.
Let's have Angelo
I'll
go
go.
first.
I'll go. Yeah, no, Angelo here. You go. Yeah, you go. I'm gonna
Well,
look up
I have
there.
to do my picks first. So, do you guys need to
Okay.
gather your thoughts, or do you want me to go first?
I'm gonna go ahead. And talk.
Okay, I can go first.
Okay.
So Tampa Bay, I just I don't know. There's a lot of unknowns. There's a few things that I do like about Tampa Bay. I do like the Tom Brady move. Obviously, everybody likes that, but I don't know
It's a good
if
move.
he's gonna be what people
Tom
think
Brady,
he's gonna be on both ends of the spectrum. It seems like some people are either saying he's gonna have an MVP season and win the Super Bowl, or he's gonna be absolute garbage. He won't be able to learn the offense. He won't be able to do shit. He's washed up. And I'm somewhere in the middle where I don't think either of those are gonna happen. I think it's gonna be something in the middle. Like he's not gonna be MVP. He's not gonna be complete garbage, but I'd say it'll be slightly above average. The Gronk edition, I'm one of the people who says, um, I think the year off, if anything, would help him, because Gronk's thing has always been his health. He's always, whenever he's healthy, he's played like an absolute all star. But um, I think taking the year off, letting his body rest. I mean, he was probably partying a lot, but that not taking hits is the main thing. I think it'll benefit him. I think he's gonna come back. I don't think he's gonna be best tight end in the league or anything, but he'll be up there in with the George Kittle, the Travis Kelsey, Zach Ertz. He'll be in approaching that area. I think he'll be like
yeah.
just a tier. I think he'll just be a tier below those guys, those three, the Ertz, Kelsey, and Kittle. Those are the clearly the top three. I think he'll be a tier below them. Um, I think this is going to be a team that early on struggles a bit, and it's going to be because Brady has never learned another offense. He's always been in the Belichick offense, and it's been more or less the same. And the Bruce Arians offense is it's a deep passing offense, and Brady has not been known for that throughout his entire career, let alone now when people are saying he's lost his arm and he doesn't have the zip to get the balls deep. So it's going to be interesting to see if he can actually have success in this offense. And like I think him and Arians, I think Arians is a smart guy. Like if he sees it not working out, like if Tom Brady literally can't throw the ball more than 40 yards, I think he'll make an adjustment to the offense. I think they're smart enough to do that. Um, so I could see something where it's like they struggle early on, they lose a few games, and then late in the season they rally and get go on a little win streak, and squeak into a wild card spot. I could see it happening. I really don't think they're gonna win this division. Um, they're getting a little bit too much hype, but if they do squeak into the playoffs and like that offense and Tom Brady are clicking and Gronk is doing his thing, I think they could definitely be super scary to play against. Like they could be one of those teams that seeds lower than they actually are, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And then one more thing before I move on to you guys. I do think that their defense is going to make a step forward this year. Um, in a very good way. I think that's what's going to help them a lot. If it was just the offensive stuff, I would be very, very hesitant to say they make the playoffs. But I think their defense is primed to make a step forward this season, which could help them make a splash, make them get to the playoffs. Who wants to go next?
I'll go ahead. So, I'm gonna start off with the defense. That's because I'm just gonna break it down a little bit more. I like, their pass rush with Shaq Barrett. They also have Jason Pierre-Paul. They have Devin White. He's a pretty good linebacker. I like their corners. Their corners are pretty. I feel like they have potential to be good next year. So I would say like their defense has the potential to be slightly above average, which is good. That's good enough. Especially if you have a offensive juggernaut in the butt. And I feel like with Bruce Arians, I don't think his offense is going to be tailored to the deep passing offense really, because he did do it with Carson Palmer in Arizona, and like I don't know if Carson Palmer was known to throw the deep ball
Right.
at that point of his career. So I could definitely see him like utilizing Chris Godwin. Mike Evans probably wouldn't be utilized as much as he was when Jameis was the quarterback there. And I feel like Chris Godwin's gonna definitely take the lead just because he's a more of a shifty route running slot, level type of receiver. I feel like him and Mike Evans, they're basically have the same amount of production, but more so Chris Godwin's gonna have more yards, but Mike Evans is gonna have more touchdowns just because he's a big target. Um, their running backs, it doesn't really matter. I mean, they just drafted a running back, and they also have. I feel like Rojo, he's gonna be better than what they did last year, but that doesn't really. I mean, he's gonna be a safety blanket for Tom Brady, and
Not
also they
Gronk?
drafted what
Said not Gronk being the safety?
safety blanket? No, because like you could just check down to Rojo. I don't know if
No, the running
Gronk's
back.
Oh,
Like a
OJ
check, like
Howard.
he's talking about the
OJ
check down.
yeah.
OJ Howard is the talent, but and that's another thing. They have an OJ Howard too,
If
which is
Gronk,
pretty.
it like side note, if Gronk can mentor OJ Howard,
OJ Howard has the potential to be a top 5 talent.
he definitely has that talent, but he's never been able to use it.
Put it together, yes.
And then really quick, whenever, before you finish, we do have people in the chat.
Who's in chat?
NXNSSH says, "Fuck the NFL. It's all about the XFL. Do a stream about the XFL, and I'll sub." So, do we want to do like a quick fire round, quick thoughts about the
Fire
XFL?
round.
XFL had so
The
much
San Diego
potential and
Fleet
it
was
went
short-
down.
Raquan Gardner,
I wish
bro.
it went better, dude. I wish it went better. I had
I
so
know,
much
just
hype
hope
for it.
not.
Well, the
I was
wait,
really excited for the XFL.
the San Diego Fleet. That was
The
that was
AF.
AAF. Yeah.
what was the other San Diego team? Did they have a second San Diego team in the XFL?
I don't think the XFL didn't have a San Diego team. I remember because I didn't have a team to cheer for XFL.
I mean, some fruit.
Isaiah, I don't know if you have PTSD. You might get cut off.
Okay. Let me just mention one thing. Did it cut yet?
Nope.
Okay.
Go for it. I think you're good. Go for it.
Okay. So they did support Tom Brady with adding offensive line talent with Tristan Wirfs. You know, that's a big upgrade what they have. And like that's really gonna help Tom Brady because if Tom Brady can't get the ball off, that's the difference. And like Tom Brady, he's always had a quick release. So, you know, that's the last thing I wanted to mention.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
you can go ahead, Emilio.
Emilio, thoughts on the Bucks?
Yo. Alright. Eating some fruit. Wow. Sorry. Thoughts on the Bucks. Okay, like you said, Angelo, how everyone's really excited about this offseason with Tom Brady and the Bucks. Everyone's questioning whether or not Tom Brady can actually do it in a different team. People thinking he's washed up. Some think he's gonna do great. You know, it's really hard to say what's gonna happen. You know, it's not easy to predict. But I can really say that I do see that offense, you know, being dangerous. You know, you got Tom Brady throwing. You don't got a Winston that, you know, throws as many touchdown passes as he does picks. You know, but we do have to remember that last season, Tom Brady hasn't really had like his big moments. You know, he didn't really have that big Tom Brady. You know.
Yeah, last
Plays
season was
or
definitely not a good
season.
season for him.
Yeah, and be honest, we can all say this that defense really held the Patriots to make it to playoffs. There was a lot of games that, you know, they could have definitely shut down easier, or they could have won. I wish I can think of some games like right off the top of my head.
No, you're right.
I can give one. I can give one like Dallas. We didn't like, you know, Dallas was struggling too because of offensive coaching, you know, and the whole head coach, whatever. But at the end of the day, it was what, like 10-7, or was it like what? Like it was literally 3 points away, and Tom Brady was just really not playing as, you know, scary Tom Brady was when he played us a while back. You know, the defense really did, you know, do their job. They held up and everything. Same thing with the Titans games in the playoffs. That one, what was it, like 13-10? What was it? Like something around there.
It wasn't a team.
Low scoring game. Both defense were doing their job, but at the same time, Tom Brady was like really nowhere to be found on making plays and making anything go. At the end of the day, he didn't really do what Tom Brady usually does, and we can all really say that maybe he had a bad season and it happens, and everyone's saying he's old, but I really want to say is that I can't really say that I don't think they're gonna do bad, but yeah, I don't think they're gonna do great. Like they can definitely make an average season into a playoff season, but not definitely a Super Bowl candidate because you do have Mahomes, you do have Watson, you still do have Jackson on the other side, and those are young guys, hungry and ready to get some playoff
Well,
wins, and
the
they got a
Bucks are
young.
in the NFC.
Oh, that's right. Sorry, I'm sorry. I always think about Tom Brady and the AFC,
Either way,
man.
it's
That's crazy.
worse. It's
But
worse.
at the NFC,
They're in a
it's
tough
definitely there's a
division.
little, they're in a tough division now. And the thing is too, you got to think about Tom Brady's not facing the same teams he's faced for mostly 20 years. You know the Dolphins, the
The
exactly
Bills,
what's the
Jets.
Bills, not the
That's
Jets.
true. He
A
doesn't have nearly
very
as many gimmies.
very mediocre teams that he would play against. You know they did steal a couple. You know they did lose some. But I feel like this is a new area for Tom Brady. He's got to learn the new scheme. He's got to learn the new NFC. You're gonna play these guys again, and you're playing the Saints again. You're playing Drew Brees again. You're playing Matt Ryan, and yeah, you came back once, but this is a whole different team. I think even then the Falcons can definitely have his number. Because this is different. He doesn't have Edelman. He doesn't have like all his old players that he had. It's a whole different system. So I can say that I definitely can see a 10-6. But at the end of the day, too, I could definitely see like an 8-8 because it could be to where Tom Brady gets hurt. I mean, you gotta know that do the Buccaneers offensive front are they even like a solid, you know?
Well, like Isaiah said, they added Tristan Wirfs, so that is
I,
an upgrade. They're not bad, I would say.
mm-hmm.
They're not like top five or anything, but I definitely think they're
They're good
above
enough
average.
though.
Yeah, I think it's just that. I mean, yeah, they got Gronkowski, they got Mike Evans, they got
Godwin.
Goodwin. I don't know. Um, they have that, but at the same time, it's like I can see some missteps happening. Some cues aren't read right. They're gonna have probably a slow start, but I think they'll have a slow start, but then they'll pick it up, but they'll pick it up to where it's too late.
Yeah,
Um,
okay, I could see that.
Maybe this could definitely be the season where Tom Brady was just like, oh, this was fun and I'm done. I don't really see him coming back after this. So I would say that this team that's really overhyped, really overhyped because everybody's on that Buccaneers train right now. Um, they can definitely finish second or third. I really don't see it first. Tom Brady coming in and making a huge difference because he's he's got to see the coaching and everything. I mean, it's like signing Aaron Rodgers to, let's say, like he can definitely go somewhere. Like let's say he went to the Patriots. Like yeah, Aaron Rodgers, that's a huge. But at the end of the day, it's like he's got to make sure he knows the plays. He's got to make sure he knows the new coaching, and yeah, he'll catch on quick. I mean, I can see that, but at the end of the day, it's not like it's gonna start off fast. We've seen this happen where we've seen players go to different teams and think that it's gonna be a big splash, it's gonna be a big help, and then it ends up not really going how everyone thought. I mean, I could bring up Odell Beckham going to the Browns, and I'm thinking, oh, they got Baker Mayfield, he's doing all right, but he can do something better with Odell. Then they got Jarvis Landry, then they got Nick Chubb, and I'm just thinking, yeah, this is it. But then again, it fails and it went terrible, So I'm thinking it can really be like a good start for them, but at the same time, it's not going to be a big improvement.
Okay.
That's how I feel. I feel like it's
Yeah.
not going to be as big as they thought
I think
because we all
are
seen
you
Joe
are you
Montana
finished?
on
Are you
on the
finished
Chiefs.
or?
Yeah, no, yeah.
Okay, sorry.
This is
I didn't want to like interrupt you. Um I
kind of
do
did.
think after thinking about it, here listening to you guys talk, I do think that Brady is going to have a better season than you guys are thinking. because here's my
Wow.
reasonings. Um, so reason number one is, like you said, like if a great player like Aaron Rodgers moves to a different team or something, it sounds great, but it doesn't always work out. The reason I think this one is different is because Brady has chosen this team himself. Like he didn't get traded. He wanted this. And
Hmm.
I feel like he last season he didn't have anybody to throw to. There was nobody on offense for him to throw to. He's been in New England his entire career. He's done everything that there is to do. Like, what is he gonna do? Win another Super Bowl? Like, it's at this point his legacy is cemented. He is the GOAT. So
Yeah.
he, I feel like last season he really struggled with maybe his mental, maybe like his motivation was lacking, and he recognized that. And this season, he he said, I'm the goat. I'm the greatest of all time. Staying with the Patriots is it's great and it's awesome and I love the Patriots, but it's not going to add to my legacy. What will add to my legacy is if I win without Belichick. And if I go to another team and I have success, they can't say anything about me. They have nothing on me anymore. So I think he's really trying to challenge himself, which scares me because Brady, I feel like he's the type of guy where when he has a chip on his shoulder, he plays 10 times better. Like if he has it's like the Michael Jordan thing. When he makes it personal, the guy's scary. Like he's the GOAT for a reason. And like a lot of people saying he's washed, like while I could see the argument, we have to also acknowledge that yes, last season was a bad season, not a abysmal season. It was like a bad season. But the season before that, the guy won the Super Bowl. He literally is 2 years removed from winning the Super Bowl. And yeah, he didn't like carry them in the Super Bowl, but like let's not brush that aside, you know? Like this is a Super Bowl
Yeah.
champion only 2 years ago, 2 seasons ago. Last season,
I'm
people were
saying
talking about
though.
the Patriots being a super team coming into the season. So for
I'm
those
saying. I'm
reasons, I
saying though,
think
Angelo.
he could have a good season. Not maybe not an MVP caliber season, but I think he could have a really good season.
Yeah. What I'm saying though is like I hear you. You know, 2 seasons away, he was in the Super Bowl and he made it happen and all that everything. Yeah, he's one of the goats, one of the greatest of all time. That I am to this day happy to like be able to witness. I can definitely say in the future, yeah, I watched them. One of the greatest of all time. But at the end of the day, you got to think, Angelo, is like all good things have to come to an end, and I feel like it's already at that point where Tom Brady's time it's already it's already been his legacy's already been told, and this is just a little fun game for him to end his career. That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that he could probably do something far, like it can be definitely like a Brett Favre in Minnesota. Like he can take him far and do something, but at the end of the day, it's not gonna go to a Super Bowl. I just don't see that team making it all the way to the Super Bowl. I can
Yeah,
maybe
and look,
see it
I'm not
NFC.
saying they're going to the Super Bowl. I'm gonna say that they squeak into the playoffs in a wild card and they make noise in the playoffs. I'm not saying that
Yeah,
they're a shoo-in for the
it,
Super Bowl at all.
yeah.
But
But you have a lot of people out there that do, and that's the thing I want to say is that, I do see it. This is Tom Brady, six-time Super Bowl champion, did it over in his 20-year career, and it's a legacy no one's ever gonna forget, greatest of all time. But it's really time for that to like end. It's really
yeah,
time
this
for it
new
to
age
just
of
go away.
quarterbacks has
Exactly,
started.
exactly. Because you already got Patrick Mahomes. Second year in the or not second year playing, he already accomplished a lot, and yet he's still young and he's still going. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah, I mean, like if we're talking Super Bowl aspiration, and I'll end it after this. We'll move on to the Saints. So you guys
yeah,
can start thinking about what you guys want to say about the Saints. But just to finish up, if we're talking Super Bowl aspirations, I could see this team going through the playoffs, um, beating like they could beat the Packers. I could see them maybe not. They could knock out the Cowboys if the Cowboys also had a hot season.
mm,
I could see them. I could see them beating like a Seahawks or Rams team that makes it in. But if they play against like Saints or even the Niners at this point, I think if they face one of those two teams, which I personally think are the top two teams in the NFC right now, I just don't see. I see that being as far as they go. Like, I could see them winning, but if I had to make a prediction, I would probably say they would fall to one of those teams in the playoffs. And even saying that, like I heard your scoff, like I do think that the Cowboys, it would be close. Packers, it would be close. Like they wouldn't be able to beat these
It'd be
teams
fun to watch.
easily.
Yeah.
It would be fun to watch, and I think Brady could find a way to win those games against like if they, and even if they did somehow manage to, like, let's say they play against the Saints and the Saints, playoff luck is horrible. They lose off of some bullshit penalty and they make it to the Super Bowl. Even if they make it to the Super Bowl, you probably got a Lamar Jackson or more likely a Patrick Mahomes waiting for you in the Super Bowl. And if that's the case, I just really don't see it. It's going to be tough. Like, I mean, but like it's really hard to say any team is going to win the Super Bowl. Anyways, let's talk Saints. We've talked about the Bucks. We went through the NFC North, NFC South. The last team we're going to talk about today, and then we'll end the stream, is the Saints. So, who wants to talk about the Saints first?
I'll go ahead and start off.
All right.
So, the Saints, they added a couple key pieces. They added a good receiver too, and Emmanuel Sanders. Then they went ahead and grabbed Malcolm Jenkins, who's coming back. They drafted, let's see here. They drafted a center with the first round pick, and then they drafted a linebacker in the third round, a tight end in the third round. But other than that center, I feel like that's the only thing that's going to impact them through the draft. So either way, I mean, they're the same team from last year, and I don't think that's a bad thing. That's definitely a good thing, especially since they added Emmanuel Sanders, who's going to help Malcolm Thomas. So, and then their defense is solid, like always. As long as they have Drew Brees, Sean Payne, and Michael Thomas, then they're going to make some noise.
Yeah.
There's nothing really much to say. They're
Yeah,
really
there's
solid.
not much to say when they've been basically the same team for the past 3 years. It's a really, really good team. So, Emilio, what do you have to? You have any thoughts? Any hot takes, maybe?
You can go ahead. I'll go last.
Okay. So, for the Saints, I mean, I think every year is their year, and this is one of the teams where, like, buying into the hype isn't. It always ends up becoming true, at least for the past few seasons. It's mainly just they've had horrible luck in the playoffs. But we're not talking about the playoffs right now. Right now, we're talking about the regular season. And regular season Saints have proven year after year that they're going to be one of the top teams in the NFC.
They're not scared. Yeah, they're not scared to show.
And they're just, I mean, they haven't lost any pieces. I think Drew Brees didn't even have the best season last season, and they still were one of the better teams, And I mean, if it really comes down to that, if they had won that game against the Niners, they would have been the 1 seed.
Oh yes.
And that could have completely changed the outlook of their whole.
They would have
season.
to face the Vikings.
They wouldn't have had to face the Vikings. They could have had a bye. And they would have had to play. It's a lot of different scenarios could have went out. The playoffs would have ran through the Superdome. And one thing I want to mention, the Saints in the Superdome are nearly indestructible. They rarely lose at home, and when they do, it's always to one of the really good teams. And this season, the only 2 teams that are on their schedule that I could see beating them at home is the Niners and the Chiefs. And they really lucked out with this, where they got to play both. They have to play the Niners and the Chiefs, which isn't lucky. But what is lucky is that both of those games are home games. And I really don't see both of them winning. Like, that's how good the Saints are at home. I really only think either the Chiefs are going to beat them or the Niners are going to beat them. And then they're going to win the rest of their home games by default. And I have them going 13-3. They lose.
Ooh.
they lose to the Chiefs. I'm gonna say they lose to the Chiefs because I'm a Niner fan, so I never want to boost the Niners too high. I always want to, I always want to have low expectations, at least as low as I can. This season is gonna be high expectations, but I'll have the Chiefs beating them Week 15 at home, and then I'll have the Falcons beating them because the Falcons always manage to win
Win
one
one.
game, and then I'll have the Bucks beating them in Week 9. And I just think the Bucks can steal one with Tom Brady versus Drew Brees, a classic.
So you're saying 13-3?
I saying 13-3,
That's the 3
yes.
losses.
And I think that's
That's
realistic considering their schedule. They out of a pretty favorable schedule. So
Who they're facing?
they're facing. I'll just go through week by week, and you already know where their losses. So Week 1 is Bucks. Then you go Raiders, Packers, Lions, Chargers, Panthers, Bears, Saints, Bucks, which is their first loss. Then Niners, Falcons, Broncos, Falcons again, which is their second loss. Eagles, Chiefs, which is their third loss. Then they have Vikings, Panthers to close off the season. It's
Man, that
a
schedule's a
really
cakewalk.
easy schedule.
I can see it now that you said
Cakewalk,
that.
bro.
Yeah,
It
and
looks like a very easy schedule for them.
I mean, this is the Saints we're talking about here. You know, like I think their defense makes them. Sorry, you know what? You go ahead. I really have nothing else. I have a few other things, but you go first.
Wow, like I couldn't really. I'm not trying to like agree to everything everyone's saying. I want to be that guy that like disagrees every once in a while. You know, you gotta always have that just to have like a good freshness.
But you can't disagree on everything.
I can see 13-3. That is, that schedule looks dumb easy. I can see that. But at the same time, I can still see them like make some minor mistakes and like plays that should have been big end up not really, going the way it should have. It should have went this way, should have went that way. I feel like maybe Brady can have some, kryptonite to Drew Brees. The battle of the old men. It looks like a really fun one.
Grandpa.
I'm definitely excited for both of those games.
Yeah. I'm definitely going to lower it down, though, a couple tiers, maybe to 11 or even 12. But I do, 13-3 is highly likable, but at the same time, I want to bring it more low to say maybe to, 11 or 12, because I can see that there can be some games that just,
They just don't
that
go
just
their
doesn't
way.
go. It just doesn't go their way.
Maybe
You'd be
injuries.
surprised, and
Maybe injuries messes them up
Injuries.
somehow.
Mm-hmm.
a lot of we don't know what's gonna happen in the season. That's what's fun about this. But I do see 11 or 12, 11-5 or 12-4. But if we want to go a little lower, maybe not. But who knows? Because at the end of the day, I always think about is Brady gonna be, the Brady's year again? What's in it for all?
Yeah. Yeah,
So
it's gonna be close, and I think the difference between the Saints and the Bucks this year is that just because they have a similar schedule, Bucks also have a pretty easy schedule. But like you guys said and like I said, I think the Bucks are just gonna struggle early because they're still gonna be meshing, And I just don't see that with the Saints, especially considering they have this basically the same team they're bringing back, So they're gonna start right out of the gate. They're gonna be fine, and yeah, I mean, this schedule is really
I mean, it
easy.
shouldn't be too bad for Drew Brees, but I did feel like Teddy Bridgewater did have a good start for them, undefeated, and then they put back Mr. What the heck? They put back Mr. Drew, and then again, it didn't really go as high as it did the beginning.
Yeah,
But I don't know. It can
well,
go either way.
Yeah, I still think Drew Brees he's still got some fight in him. I mean, if you're talking about a quarterback who wants to win a Super Bowl, you could talk about Brady, but I mean, I feel like we need to talk about Brees. Like, this guy has been fucked over the past 3 years straight. He has been screwed over by stuff that, quite frankly, is just out of his control. You know?
I would really love to see the Saints take one last Super Bowl and let Breeze walk off like, Peyton
I
Manning did.
I would
But
too.
at the same time, it's really hard because you got these young guys that are just making a noise, and they're a lot hungrier and a lot, eager.
Yeah, it's hard. I mean, you got the Niners in the NFC, and then, who knows? I feel like we're gonna get to it on the next one, the next podcast. But I think that the Cowboys are gonna be an up and coming team this year, and then you got all those teams in the AFC. It's hard. It's rough. They just like got good at the wrong time, But, I mean, I feel like Drew Brees, he's angry at this point. He's frustrated. He's like, when is it gonna be my turn again? Like he
When
wants
is
to
it gonna
cement
when they gonna
himself.
call my number?
He wants to cement himself as one of the best of all time. And it's hard when you only have one Super Bowl.
Mhm.
So that's about all I have to say about the Saints. Does anybody else? We got our boy in the chat says, "What about the Chiefs?" We're gonna talk about the
Really?
Chiefs later when during another pod. So if you wanna listen, we'll probably get to it at a later time.
Because we
So
did only like 2 divisions.
we
for
did
right
two
now.
divisions. We've been going for
We did
about an
the
hour and a
NFC
half,
North
almost
and
2
NFC
hours.
South.
But if you
Yeah.
want, it would be really awesome if you could sub, and then we'll
Definitely,
get
definitely, I
to
have
it.
a lot to say about the Chiefs, man.
We could do really
Good
quick
or
about the
bad, who
Chiefs.
knows?
We could do
Who
really, really
knows?
quick. I don't know. Review on last.
I'm fine with doing one more division. I mean, if you want to switch it to like
Well,
the South or
We might as well
AFC.
just go to the NFC.
because if we do another division, then
It's gonna be like another.
then
30
the next
minutes,
time we
40 minutes.
it'll be off. Like it's fine to stop here, I think, and then we could continue. We'll probably be back on tomorrow with NFC East and NFC West. But if you get here early and you request us to do the AFC West, we can do the AFC West. So if you want to
Yeah, I'm
subscribe,
down for
we'll
that.
probably be around the same time tomorrow, and we could do that then. But for now, is there anything else you guys want to say about the NFC North or NFC South for any of these teams?
No.
No.
I mean, I just say that Tom Brady and Drew Brees, those are going to be very fun matches
Game
to
of the
see.
years. Game of the year.
Game of the years, tickets are going to be sold for once in Tampa.
It's definitely it's definitely exciting times in Tampa.
Tampa
What a time to be
Bay,
alive.
man. Tom Brady about to get that tan, bro.
Tam Brady.
Tam
Brady.
Tom Brady, man.
All right. Well, I think that'll close it out. If you want more of this, then it's not subscribe. It's follow us on Twitch or follow me on Twitch. We're definitely gonna stream more of this. And if you want to help out, I am gonna be posting the VOD of this on YouTube on my YouTube channel. So if you could go to subscribe to that, that would be awesome too. Thanks for listening, and I think we're gonna end it right there.
Yeah. Thanks for everyone for jumping in, and be sure to listen to the next one and see what ridiculous things we have to say that are very inaccurate sometimes. But yes, sir.
All right. See you guys.